Today, I'm going to be ranking every Valorant agent in the game. We're gonna feature agents that have been released since the dawn of time until the most recent act. Do take note that we'll be ranking the latest versions of these agents, which means that we won't be talking about Raze with 2 grenades,
One enemy remaining,
or Breach when he had 3 flashes. To avoid confusion, we're gonna be ranking through each agent in the order of their class type. The criteria for these rankings will be based on the agent's utility and how useful it is based on their assigned role. So without further ado, let's begin! KO is a machine of war built for a single purpose, neutralizing radiance. His power to suppress enemy abilities cripples his opponent's capacity to fight back, securing him and his allies the ultimate edge. Sounds cool, right? I just read that line from the agent's description. KO is the ultimate poster boy for initiators. He has all the essential abilities that's required from an initiator. Flash? Check. Info? Check. Molly? Check. Wait, KO has the only flash ability that every CSGO player won't shut up about. Apart from the standard initiator abilities, KO is the only agent who has the ability to suppress enemies, making them unable to use their utility. This is very useful as it provides info, places enemies at disadvantage, and forces them to rely on their raw aim. His ultimate is not the best against 1v1 as it reveals your location, but the main purpose behind it is to go out with the team in taking or retaking a site. It's very useful. S tier.
Wherever they run, I will find them.
Sova is one of the Valorant OGs. His ability mainly revolves around providing
Информация.
to your team. His Recon Dart is one of the most useful classic abilities in the game. His drone was severely nerfed, but I still see value in it. His Shock Darts though,
Shock dart. Shock dart.
That might actually work. That might actually work. Go on.
if you're a nerd and you like to study lineups, then Sova is the right one for you. It's perfect for the extremely dedicated niche players who want to become dude perfect in the game. If you're like me and you don't like to memorize lineups, and you just come up with bouncy physics, then Sova is the right one for you. I feel like his ultimate is one of the most balanced one in the game, and its overall kit isn't game breaking, but he can be very dangerous in the hands of a true maestro. A tier. Imagine Sova if he could flash and heal, kinda. Imagine Fade if her Prowler required 6 ult points, 2 for each cabbage. Imagine Breach if his flashes were birds and he was a girl with a puppy. Imagine Sage if she had the accent of Tarzan on
Like
crack.
that, mate. So I jumped in my car and I started chasing him up the road, and then he went down a side street.
Skye's flashes aren't really great since there's a better version of it, though you can use it to outplay some scrubs. Her dog isn't the best, it can stun, but there's a better version of it. You know, something that flies, or someone who can stun the Great Wall of China. Her heal is kinda decent. If you want to use an ult that'll win your team in Pro Valorant tournament, go for Skye.
corner, the elbow spotted, the Skye utility out! Powerful, no! It's stolen away from her! The Skye Seekers win the round for Team Liquid!
C tier. Breach is the most explosive daddy in Valorant. He's also the love interest of another daddy in the game. Riot, please make it canon. When we're talking about pure initiator, there's really only one agent that comes to mind. He is literally the epitome of chaos. Breach has a flash that goes through walls and then blinds you for 100 years. A stun that dazes the entire Mexican border, and an aftershock that reminds me of that one time during high school prom. His ultimate is literally just an auto-win condition. It's a free sight at that point, and free kills. He's a really powerful initiator, especially for low elo where people don't know how to properly dodge a flash yet. S tier.
Years.
Fade is my favorite. Like Sova, I think she's very balanced agent. Her Seize ability is good for choke points and other situations. Her Haunt provides really powerful intel. Her Prowler is also very useful and can be used in clearing angles. Her ult is balanced and at the same time very OP when used right. If you're looking for an agent to practice being an initiator instead of relying on disruptive ability, go for Fade. You'll be forced to learn how to properly use your utility and when not to waste it. Overall, I think she's a well-rounded agent. A tier.
Welcome to Valorant.
You're probably tired of seeing this guy on trailers and posters, Aside from being an important character in the Valorant lore that no one really cares about, Brimstone is the very first controller you will play in the game. He has a stim beacon that gives movement speed boost and fire rate. It's a really situational utility. He also has one of the most powerful mollies in the game, and he has the longest duration for a smoke, though I'm not a big fan of the iPad. Lastly, he has the most destructive ult in the game. But aside from those, there's really not much to this guy. He's literally just a walking CSGO character with Victor's ult. B tier. Reaper Omen was the meta for the longest time during the first year of Valorant. He has a wide range flash that is very useful for defending and combining with another agent. He also has a short TP which can get you to elevated positions or perform sick plays that made Flex Ninja famous. In order to use his smokes, you'll have to either summon it in the Earth Realm or you'll have to go to the Shadow Realm.
Looks like you're going to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo.
Honestly, when Valorant introduced the concept of having to go to another UI just to play smokes, I wasn't a big fan. I hated just sitting on my ass and waiting for the sound cues while I'm pulling up my iPad. But with Omen, it felt fast and simple, unlike Brimstone and Astra. So, I've been using him from time to time when I play controller. His ult is kinda decent, it allows him to keep the enemies guessing, I guess. B tier. On paper, Astra has the most useful abilities. Black Hole, Concuss, Smokes, dividing the whole map. During the first LAN tournament, everyone was using Astra. Honestly, the Astra era was the most boring. Because not only did the controller have to sit on their ass in the base and wait for audio cues, but Astra players really have the advantage over other agents. So much so that teams heavily relies on the Astra utilities that it's become so broken. Now, she's got nerfed so bad that I literally don't remember seeing her in my matches. I've probably only used her less than 20 times in my entire Valorant experience and I never liked her. C tier. Viper is one of the controllers that I constantly use whenever I'm playing ranked. No bullshit, no tablets or any of that. You get a one-time deployable wall and a deployable smoke that you can pick up. The Viper wall is an extremely powerful vision tool in the game. I could even make the case that it's just as powerful as Astra ult. And you can activate and reactivate whenever you need. Your Poison Cloud also has the ability to make a one-way smoke like Omen. Additionally, you have 2 acid mollies that you can combo with the smoke during post-plant. Or you can try and stop a push on a choke point. You also have one of the most powerful ults in the game. It essentially locks down the entire site, denying vision on the enemy and allowing you and your teammates to sneak up. What more can I say? Viper is a bad bitch. S tier.
Luckily, I have it under control.
Harbor is the newest addition to the game. It's only been a while since his release and I've been having fun with him. He's also one of my go-to controllers right now. His abilities are the most balanced among the controllers. It not only slows the enemy but also slows your teammates. His ability High Tide is a very long ability and can be very powerful when executing a sight to deny vision. His ability Cove is the main highlight of this agent. Everyone was making a fuss about it since the reveal, though I think it's very balanced. It just takes some time to getting used to. His ability Cascade is very underrated. Not a lot of people know how to properly use it. It can be very game changing, especially to long corridor types like C-Long in Haven. His ultimate is also very balanced and it is a natural counter to Viper's ult. A tier. As one of the agents you'll unlock upon playing the game, Sage is the poster child for a Sentinel agent because she has all the toolkit for an effective defense agent. She has the ability to heal teammates or herself, 2 charges of slow to prevent enemies from entering choke points, and of course, a wall. It has the ability to block vision and access, but it also allows for some sick montage plays. It is the infamous wall that made entire YouTube careers end misery. Her ult allows her to revive a teammate. It's literally the most impactful ability in the game. However, in the end, Sage is very balanced. Her wall is not that impactful anymore since most recent maps are larger in size with more choke points compared to earlier maps in the game. B tier. Cypher was my first main when I first played this game. His tripwires are the backbone of his abilities. He can set up trips to prevent flanks and to stop enemy from choke points. It also allows you to place very insane tripwires that just confuses people. His cage allows him to deny vision and to provide sound cues whenever someone enters or exits the cage. It is usually comboed with tripwire so that the sound from the cage masks the tripwire so the enemy gets caught and it allows the player to spam the entrance. It can also be used to enter a site and deny vision from one side. His camera is okay. Well, actually, it's kinda cool. You can place the camera in weirdest places so that the enemy would not be able to shoot it. His ult is recently updated where the enemies are now revealed twice in separate clicks. Very useful information, especially during rotates and clutch situations. A tier. Did you know that you can tell if someone has negative IQ? It's when they pick Killjoy on Fracture. Killjoy is mediocre. There's 1,000 ways to stop her lockdown ult. Her alarm bot is bad because of the range mechanic. Her mollies are useless, I mean you can literally shoot them off. The only remotely useful thing about her is her turret. That's literally it. There's nothing more about her. C tier. I'm sure you probably have an idea where I would place this French Trademark is a tremendous utility for watching flanks or an entrance point that you can't hold, making Chamber to hold down a site alone. His Rendezvous is basically the new Jett dash. His Headhunter is just beyond OP on pistol rounds. His ult is really fucking broken. He is completely broken even in the hands of someone who has a remotely decent aim. He deserves to be in a tier of his own, called He's Completely Broken. Fuck, my f***ing French is so bad. Let's start with a paragon of all duelists, Jett. This Korean ABG never left the meta. Even after all the numerous nerfs, none of which made her any less annoying, she is still very powerful. Jett has 2 charges of smoke that only last for a couple seconds. It is typically only used in entering a site to deny temporary vision against the enemy, giving space for Jett and her teammates to execute. Her updraft allows her to stand on elevated positions. It is usually only used to defend the site, but it is also used in combo with her ult. Her dash is the bread and butter of her utility. It allows her to escape dangerous situations or to catch enemies off guard. It also allows her to dash into site, picking up frags like a true duelist. Her ult are knives that reset upon enemy takedown. It can be very powerful if the user has decent aim. She has all the necessary kits to perform her duty as a duelist, but her abilities aren't really game changers, since it heavily relies on the user. B tier.
Good to know. Let's try something new then.
Ah yes, the Smurf's best friend. There's 2 types of Reyna players. A very cracked player with Shroud's aim, or someone who could not hit a single shot. Reyna is an agent that allows the player to be a killing machine. Half of her abilities are useless unless you participate in a kill. She's very combat reliant. Her eye is not really the best flash, but it helps in blinding small areas. Her Devourer allows her to heal back the health she lost in a duel or gives her a temporary shield. Her Dismiss can be very broken since it denies the enemy to trade their teammates. Her ult transforms her into the Baba Yaga as she gains increased fire rate, auto heal, and her Dismiss now makes her invisible. But you can still hear her footsteps and it takes her a second to pull out her gun, so it's not completely broken. B tier.
100! I got this.
In terms of character design, Phoenix takes the win. I mean, what a beautiful dude. He looks like he could be a cast member of Sex Education. But in terms of gameplay, this guy is a mediocre as mediocre goes. Phoenix's flash is faster now, but it's really not the most broken thing in the game. His wall is okay. Like Jett's Cloudburst, it provides temporary vision denial against the enemy, but it leaves him vulnerable and open when he's casting the wall. Not a lot of people really know how to use his molly. People like to save it for heals instead of mollying an area on site to execute more efficiently. His ultimate is kinda cool. It allows him to enter the site without having to risk dying, but sometimes it could backfire.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
It's a knife!
Dog shit. Yeah, to all the Phoenix mains watching this video, fight me. Lots of people give Yoru a low rating on their list, which kinda surprised me. I also barely see Yoru during rank, which is kinda odd, considering that he can be very deadly when you know how to use him. I've played with people who know how to use Yoru and it was a nightmare. It's like playing Shaco in League. He can spawn a clone that can trick the enemy and when it gets shot, it blinds them. People have been creative when using this ability. His gate crash is his bread and butter. He can teleport to it anytime, or make a fake teleport to trick losers into checking their flank. His flash is unremarkable, but if you know how to use it efficiently, then it can also be good. His ultimate is the best part. It allows him to enter the Shadow Realm and become invulnerable as it allows him to travel and provide info to his teammates, such as enemy positions and traps. Yoru is a solid 8 tier. Surrounded by Mia Khalifa. Raze is the only agent in the game whose every ability damages the enemy, and I love it. If you're playing Bind, you always have a Raze. She's the queen of hookah. Her boombot is great at clearing space and weird angles. Her satchel allows her to power jump throughout the map. There are also other ways to be creative with it. I like using it on the enemies. Her grenade is kinda like a molly, except it does more damage and it splits up into little grenades that do separate damage. Her ultimate is the final boss of the game. Whenever you hear the sound, fire in the hole! Motherfuckers always run away. Her ultimate always kills you. You can even use it with a satchel to gain more space. Overall, Raze is exactly what her design requires her to be. S tier. Putang ina nyo mga bobo, let's go! Neon is an agent that is designed for fast-paced gameplay. Her entire toolkit is designed to amplify her movement and to disrupt the enemy while entering the site. High gear gives her movement speed boost, and you can alt-click to slide to make it harder for the enemy to shoot you. Her energy bolt concusses the enemy in an area. Her wall is an even better version of Phoenix Wall, and it actually rivals other controllers' walls. Her ultimate turns her into a walking taser. It provides Neon with a movement speed boost and a lightning attack. Whenever there's a Neon, the rounds usually have a faster pace. And sometimes when Neon gets a couple entries in a site and it's time for the enemy to rotate, it's already too late. Neon's already in their base. However, I think Neon is a bit harder to learn. Like Yoru, you actually need a feel for her abilities and you'll have to be able to adjust in setting the momentum. This places Neon in A tier. This is the final result of my tier list. If you don't agree with me, then you are wrong. Nah, just kidding. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's try to get to 1,000 subs before the end of the year. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.